we celebrate and remember the sacrifice of our King every Sunday. It's repetitious. We do this liturgically over and over again. And why would Jesus have us do this? Why would he have us repeat this? It's for many reasons, but one aspect for this repetition and reminder of Christ's sacrifice is that it reminds us of what Christ needed to do before God exalted him over heaven and earth. He needed to give his life for the world, and as a result would be given the world. Dominion is always tied to sacrifice. Taking on more responsibility means more sacrifice, but it means and it entails more rule. To the extent one gives themselves to something, they will be given dominion over that thing. In Hebrews, we read, "For the joy set before him, he endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God." Sacrifice is often not enjoyable, but it is the gate that we must pass through to acquire joy. Sacrifice is often shameful, but it is the means by which God exalts his elect. Men have a tendency to want glory without sacrifice, but this is not the way that God made the world. And this is the foundational sin of Adam and Eve. They wanted to be like God, and that was not necessarily a bad thing. God makes men like himself, but they wanted to do it through a shortcut. They wanted to bypass the obedience. God said, no, not yet, not now, and they did it anyway. Without obedience, without submission, without learning these things that were necessary. Without sacrifice. But in the kingdom of God, there are no shortcuts. There's no shortcuts in the kingdom to glory. You're either going to acquire fake glory, or you're going to destroy yourself through these shortcuts, like Adam and Eve did. One becomes a king by becoming a servant, not a doormat, but a warrior who lays his life down for those that he loves. And this memorial sacrifice, it reminds us of that. It reminds us that this is what Christ did before he sat down at the right hand of God. And so we too must walk in his footsteps, laying our lives down totally in submission to God. And as St. Peter says, "Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, so that in due time he may exalt you." So come and welcome to Jesus Christ.